I want more. And I know I shouldn't.
All right, Giants Nation. So, welcome to the first episode of Giants Fan Check. I used to do a series called The Shit That New York Giants Fans Say because once I joined all the Giants groups, I started to realize that some of the fan base is literally just insane or just borderline stupid. Like some of the stuff that they share in the groups just it doesn't make sense. So with that said, I'm going to share 3 posts with you guys in this video. And the first one is from this guy Shaka, and he says, shout out to Drew Lock for winning that BS game versus the Colts. Now we aren't getting the QB. Now we really don't know that. We just assume that the Browns will draft the quarterback, but if they go and draft Travis Hunter or some other player, then that will leave us with either Ward or Sanders. So the Giants should be prepared to draft either one, whichever one is available. In my personal opinion, I would like to think that Dable and Joe didn't survive the Daniel Jones Barkley era only to not draft the quarterback. Like that would suck because from day one, when you guys hated Daniel Jones, like the small segment of the fan base, you wanted them to get a quarterback. And then now some of you guys are saying you don't want them to get a quarterback because you're stupid and you think Arch is coming out in 2026 for sure. I'm not saying he's not going to come out, but there is a chance that he might not come out. And then you look stupid waiting on him to come out when he doesn't come out. And that's the problem I have with Arch because, you know, when you see guys like Drew Brees, his grandpa, his uncles say stuff like he should stay in school, I would like to think that he's probably going to stay in school because you're talking about some of the GOATs telling him to stay in school longer and continue to build his game. And I think that's the smart thing for him to do. And then to also just go to Dallas and completely avoid the Giants and crush Giants fans who are super delusional and just really stuck on this idea of drafting Arch Manning to the point where you would pass on Sanders and Ward this year, further screwing over Brian Dable, who unfortunately has never had his quarterback and got stuck with Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor. That is so unfair to Brian Dable. And you guys call this guy the quarterback whisperer. He hasn't had a quarterback to whisper to, respectfully. All right, now on to the next post. So this next guy, Al Wright, is an example of a Giants fan that thinks he's smart. So he says, where are all the people that said you don't pay running backs? You pay generational talent like SB dummies. No, you don't pay running backs. At the end of the day, if you're not contending, if you're not a good team that's in the playoff picture looking to contend, why are you paying a running back? Especially if you don't have an offensive line. All you're doing is you're trapping that running back. So it's really against Saquon's best interest for the Giants to pay him. You're trapping him on a bad team where he can possibly get hurt. You're putting him in a Jonathan Taylor situation. They pay Jonathan Taylor to lose to us and screw us over. That's what you paid Jonathan Taylor for. You see, all the other teams are doing what we did. They let the running back that they knew was very talented walk away. You know, Derrick Henry is no longer on the Titans. Josh Jacobs is no longer on the Raiders. And I'm going to keep telling Giants fans this until you dummies pick up on the fact that you don't pay running backs when you're a bad team. The Giants, we are a bad team. Own it, guys. Stop thinking that we're a good team and we're just a quarterback away. We are a bad team until we're not a bad team. That's how we're going to play it, because last year when we did all those signings, some fans were very happy about the signings. And then now they're saying that John Runyon is like one of the worst signings ever. So don't get too high. You could be optimistic, but don't be acting like this team is a good team already and they're just a quarterback away. Let's just let it play out. Let's get that quarterback. Let's do what we need to do in the free agency period. And again, like I said, draft that quarterback. But it really depends on what the Browns do. But yeah, to think that y'all don't understand how the running back game works, y'all just think you signed Saquon Barkley because he's talented, it just really shows that some of y'all are probably just casual fans. But yeah, running backs who are good are going to contending teams because the contending teams will take the risk to pay them. But when you think about it though, Kansas City will probably win the Super Bowl this year. They should win the Super Bowl. I get that the Eagles have Saquon Barkley, but they should win. Whether you want to say they're going to cheat to win with the referees, which I definitely co-sign. Cheat. I want y'all to cheat and beat the freaking Eagles. I don't like the Eagles. I still like Saquon Barkley. That's unfortunate if he loses on his birthday, but He's with the rivals, guys. I'm not rooting for the rivals. I don't know what y'all are doing. Like, you can't hate your own franchise this much you would root for the rivals. You should just go ahead and switch and be an Eagles fan. So, if they don't win the Super Bowl, they pay Saquon Barkley. Eventually, those contracts are going to catch up to him. So imagine they don't win the Super Bowl the next 2 years and those contracts that are backloaded start to catch up. You don't pay running backs. I mean, how much is Kansas City paying their running backs? They got 2 good running backs, and they got D Hopkins. So I hope Patrick Mahomes balls out and there's no need for referees. And I hope that their cheap running backs do well so y'all can understand that paying Saquon Barkley was not worth it for the Giants. There's no situation where you pay Saquon Barkley and the Giants are good. Give up, guys. Now, this very last one says, to think if we had a good GM, Saquon Barkley and Jaden Daniels could be on the same team. Instead, they belong to each of our divisional rivals. First of all, Dallas, Eagles, Giants, it's a 3-way thing. We don't pay attention to the Washington Redskins. Yes, they had a good season last year, but respectfully, we don't take them serious. It's a 3-way hate thing between the Giants, Eagles, and Dallas. We don't pay attention to what Washington does, but I will say that the Washington, they're not Redskins anymore. They should be. The Washington Commanders, they outsmarted the Giants. They tanked. You have Giants fans last year saying, or not last year, but 2 seasons ago saying that the Giants are too honorable to tank and we shouldn't tank. And John Mara saying, oh, he didn't trade Saquon Barkley when we were 2-6 because he didn't want to give up on the season. That's why we're not smart. That's why we are where we are. You trade Saquon Barkley, you get Jaden Daniels, because it's hard to beat the Patriots, the Eagles, and Green Bay without Saquon Barkley. And so you have Matt Breida and Tommy DeVito out there. You definitely lose out, and the only game you win is against the Washington team, which they were not trying to win. It would have been hard to beat them considering they were trying not to win. And so when I did the math, you would end up with the 2nd pick and you would get Jaden Daniels. But there is no scenario where you get Saquon Barkley and Jaden Daniels on the same team unless Saquon Barkley got hurt and we retained Saquon Barkley and then gave him a contract. Because you got to remember, GMs with bad teams, they're not paying running backs. It was so bad that Josh Jacobs, when he got his offer from Green Bay, he went back to the Raiders and they told him, go ahead and go on to Green Bay. Because the GMs are looking at it like, my team isn't good. Why am I paying a running back running behind bad offensive lines a whole bunch of money? Like, it doesn't make sense. And Giants fans will never understand it because y'all don't understand how the running back position works. Y'all would rather keep Saquon Barkley, never win a Super Bowl, have him, be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life after carrying this sorry ass team, and then look back and say, oh, well, at least he didn't go to the Eagles, or at least I got to watch Saquon Barkley. Y'all are selfish. Y'all don't really love Saquon Barkley like that. If you really love something, sometimes you got to let it go. And hey, I got my Saquon gear still. I got Saquon hanging on my wall. I do understand he is an op now, but I'm not burning nothing. I'm not destroying anything. But at the same time, I'm not a dick rider like some of you so-called Giants fans who are all over Saquon Barkley to the point where you would root for the rivals in the Super Bowl. That could never be me, respectfully. But I don't know. Comment down below what you think. Say something outlandish so I can include it in the next video. Drop your opinions.